So today we'll talk about case when in SQL. So see, case when is very important topic. If you're a person who wants to be very good in SQL, then you must have command on this topic. And this is very easy as well. So people think that it's difficult, but it's very easy and you can easily solve questions based on case when. So I will tell you about it. So I'm going to write our topic, which is case when. So how many of you know about if else? How many of you know about if else? So just take an example. If your mother cooks food for you, then what can be the two probabilities? If your mother cooks food for you, then what can be the possible things that can happen? Tell me in the chat box fast. Either you will eat it or you will not eat. These are the two probabilities. So now, this is the condition that comes with if. Like if this event occur, and this is the output based on that event, like output 1 and output 2. So when you have some conditions in your mind and you want the output based on those conditions, then you use case when. Now it's very simple. Like if this thing happens, then you will eat, else you will not eat. So there are two things. So before starting with case when, I will tell you something about if else. So if you have learned Python a little bit, there can be conditions like if 2 is greater than 3, then you will print true. Sorry, then you will print false. And in the last case, if it is wrong, then you will print true. Then true will come into the else part. Like if the condition occurs, then you have to print false, else you will print true. So same like this, if you want to give a conditional view on which you want some desired output, if you want something like this, if you want to give some conditions and you want to get a desired output, at that point of time, to give this kind of functionality in SQL, you will use something known as case. So case is something in SQL that gives you a functionality like this. Is my voice clear to all of you? Okay, so case will give you that functionality. Now, inside case, what will happen? Inside case, you will drop your conditions because you have created a functionality in which you want to give some conditions, and on those conditions, you want to give some output. So now, how to give a condition in case? So you have to use something known as when. So when is used for giving conditions. And on basis of those conditions, then is used for giving output. And at last, if that condition is true, then you will give an output with the help of then, else for all conditions, you will give a different output. So else is for all those conditions which are not a part of your condition. So else is an output For all those conditions that is not meeting with when. Is everybody clear till here? Ping in the chat box if you are clear till here. And try to be interactive in chat box. If you are not interactive, then there is no way to teach you. Please be interactive in the class. If I'm asking some questions, try to answer in the chat box. Okay. So now I told these things about case when. Now, every time when you are using a case when, every time when you are using a case, you have to end that case. So every time when you are using a case, you have to end that case. And what will happen if you will use a case when condition? You will get a different column. You will get a different column with values based on those conditions. So this is something about case when, a basic upper overview, like how case when is working. Now we'll try to see different categories of case when. So in our first category of case when, there is something known as categorization with case when. So this is our first part, categorization with case when. So let's take some examples. So I will use my data set, use class 5 data set. And I will take a table from here. Select a star from customers. And this is my table. So in this table, in this customers table, there is customer ID, first name, last name, like every detail about a customer who is a part of e-commerce data set. So now I have a question in my mind. My question is, I want to give a flag to all the customers. I want to give a flag to all the customers. So if first name starts with vowels, then I will give a flag as V. And if first name is not starting with vowel, I will give a flag as C, which is consonant. So let's try to solve this problem with the help of SQL. So the first question is, you have to decide what are the columns that you need with this flag. So I want all the columns. So I will write select star. After that, I will put a comma. Now I will create my flag on the basis of conditions with the help of case. So I will write case. Now I will write my first condition. When first name like, I will use a list here to check all the occurrences of vowels at starting, and I will put a percentile after it because I want to check at starting. And I will write if when first name like starting with AEIOU, then is basically used for output. So then I will give a flag as V. Now I will use my else condition. Else if first name is not like vowels, then I will use and I will give a flag as C. Now I have told you every time when you are using a case when condition, you have to end it. So I will write end. And I will give it a name as, because I told you But every time when you are using a case when, you are creating a new column. So I will give it a name as flag. Flag. And I am taking all these things from my customers table. And now I will run this query. See, there is an additional column that is coming here, which is known as flag. And in this flag, we have all the categories. So V is for name starting with vowels, and C is for name starting with consonants. Till now, everybody is clear. Everybody is clear till now? Nice. So now you had dropped a case when condition and you are making an additional column. For example, in the same question, I want to drop one more condition. I want to have one more flag. So right now my flag will be, I want a flag for all emails where the email length, so the length of characters in email are greater than 10. If the length of characters in email is greater than 10, I want to give it a name as long email. And if the length of characters in email are less than equal to 10, then I want to give a flag as long email. And I will take one more condition. I will take a equal to condition. Sorry, I will take a less than 10 condition to give it a name as short email. And I will give a equal to condition also and will give it a name as medium email. So now tell me, in the second flag that I want to create, how many when conditions will be there? In the second flag, how many when conditions will be there? Two. Okay. So I will try to create this flag here only. So I will put a comma and I will again write case because I am going to create a condition like structure. So I have to use case. So I will write case when length of email column is greater than 10, then I will give a output as long email. Now I have to drop my second condition. So when length of email is less than 10, I will give it a name as short email. And now tell me, what will be there in else clause? In else clause, there will be automatically medium email. Because if you are taking care of conditions greater than less than, then the only condition that remains is equal to medium email. And now you know that again you have used case, you have to end it. So end. And I will give it a name as email flag. And I will run this query. See, you are getting a flag here, which is known as email flag, in which all long, short, and medium emails are there. So basically, all emails have greater than 10 characters. That's why every category is long email. Are you clear with this? Is everybody clear with this case? If you have any questions, you can ask. we can have n number of conditions, and we can have two or more than two condition, or two, like you can have more than one conditions in a single case also. Like for example, if I'm writing case when first name like AEIOU and last name again like AEIOU percentile. So you are giving two conditions for a desired output. So you can do it like this also. So if first name and last name are starting with vowels, then you have to give a like condition. Then you have to give a output V. Else you have to give a output C. Is it clear to all of you how case when is working? Any questions still here? Okay, so let's move with the second category. Let's solve a question first. So I want all the customers, just take a different kind of view. I want count of customers starting with consonants as their starting letter in first name and and uh, and customers starting their first name with vowels. If I want something like this, so for example, if I do something like this, if I write select customer, like I will do something like this, select customer ID, only customer ID, comma, case when first name like, this time I will use substring for the first name. So substring first name, comma 1, which means first letter of the first name in A, comma E. People who don't know about substring can watch my previous classes. You will know about it. E and U. So if first name starts with AEIOU, then you will give it a name as vowels, else C, which is consonants, and you will end as flag. So from my customers table, So it will give me a flag, consonants and vowels. Now, if I want to check how many consonants are there, how many vowels are there, just tell me. For example, if you have a table like this, for example, if you have a table like this, in which two columns are there, customer ID and flag, how can you tell me the count of customers in consonants and in vowels? How you will tell me if you have a table like this only? Anybody can turn on his or her mic. Tell me if you have a table only like this.
You have to
with
count
two
flag
columns.
or customer ID. What do you have to count?
You will count on the basis of, you will count, you will create a group by group of flags and you will count the customer IDs. Yes or no? If you have a normal, why you are behaving like dumb? See, if you only have two columns, customer ID and flag, and if you want to drop something on this table, what do you do?
Count function with
Flag.
customer ID.
Yeah, correct, Pooja.
Five flag.
You will do something like this. Select flag, comma, count of customer ID from your table, and you will use a group by flag. Is it correct? Yes or no? So just tell me, from this thing, you are getting a output like this. So for example, if I want to use this thing as a table, for example, if I want to use this output as a new table, so this output is like this. If I want to use this output like a new table, what I will do is I will put a bracket here and I will put a bracket here and I will give this table a name as T. Now, this is your virtual table. And I created this virtual table with the help of subquery. This complete thing a name. Now this T is my table. Now T is my table, which carries output of this statement. What I will do is I will write select flag, comma, count of my customer ID, and I will do this thing from this complete thing, and I will do a group by flag. Just understand this complete thing, the complete query that you have written. Now this complete query is reacting like a table with the help of subquery. So now what you are doing is you are writing select flag, comma, count of customer ID from this complete table, and then you are doing a group by flag. Let's run it. So there are 429 customers starting their name with consonants and 97 customers starting their name with vowels. Is it clear to all of you? Don't go with the subquery and CTE concept right now. I will teach you all these things in a separate class. Just for this class, for this example, I am telling something like this. So now, with the help of case when, with only the help of case when, you are not able to solve this. So now second category of case when comes into the picture, which will help you to solve problems like this without actually using a subquery. And that is something known as aggregation with case when. So no, you know what is what is categorization with case when, but to solve a problem like this without using a subquery or a CTE, you can do it with the help of case when only. And for that purpose, the second category of case when comes into the picture, which is aggregation with case when. So now I will solve the same thing with the help of aggregation with case when. I will write select. I will write a case when condition. So case when first name like AEIOU percentile, then count my customer ID, else count null, which means nothing, end. And I will give it a name as vowels, or I will give it a name as count of customers with vowels, comma, I will again use a count, again will start a case when condition, case when first name not like AEIOU percentile, then count my customer ID, else count nothing, which is null, and end. And I will give it a name as count of customers with consonants from my table customers. And I will run this. You are getting the same output, yes or no? But this time you haven't used a subquery or a CT. Correct, yes or no? Now, how you are able to do it? I will tell you the case. Just tell me, for example, this is my table. Select a star from customer. I will explain the query that I have written. So for example, this is my table, select a star from customers. Now, just tell me if I want to count my customer IDs from my table, what I will use? I will write select count of customer ID from my table customers. This is a simple query that I will use if I want to count my customer IDs from my customers table. So what fancy I am doing here is I am just writing a case condition inside my count function. I am writing case when first name like this. If your first name is starting with vowels, then I will count my customer ID. So the output from this case statement is my customer ID. So I am counting my customer ID only if there is a vowel case. Else, if there is no vowel case, then count nothing, which is null. Because if you will give 0, then 0 is also a countable thing. Count will count 0 also. That's why I'm giving null here. And you know that every time when you are using case when condition, you have to end it. So I'm ending it inside the count bracket only. And I'm taking the count of customers with vowels. Same like this. Count when first name is not like vowels. Then I have to count my output, which is customer ID. So count is counting customer ID only. Your count function is counting customer ID only based on a condition. Is it clear to all of you? So now, for example, now I am going to change my requirement. Now I want count of vowels and consonants every month. I want this count for every month. If I want this count for every month, then what I have to change in my query?
You have to add group by per month.
So I will add month of my date entered. First, I have to take out the month, na. So I will take my month from the date entered column. I will put a comma and I will give it a name as month. So now tell me which thing will go in my group by clause. Which thing will go in my group by clause?
Month.
So group by month date entered, because you know that I have teased you that you cannot use this name in the group by clause because select comes after group by in the order of execution. So now if you will run this, see, for every month, you are getting count of customers with vowels at their starting letter and count of customers with consonants at their starting letter. This is a null value because I have added a single column to show you in the last class. That's why it's coming null. So this is your correct output. Are you clear with this?
Yeah.
So now if I say that if I will show you a problem that is asked in Amazon, I will show you a problem that is asked in Amazon as well as Uber. And now you people have to solve this problem. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to open YouTube. I will show you a problem and you will only solve that problem. I think I have that problem in Drive also. Let me check my Drive. Oh. We have that thing. Let me search because I think I have those things with me. Okay, I have that PDF with me. So let's take this. Now you people will solve this problem. So I'm going to create one thing for you. And I will show you the table now. So let's write select star from payments data. Just give me one more minute. Please turn off your mic. Please turn off your mic. Marius, please turn off your mic. I will use a different query because I don't want you to copy the case when one. So yeah, I will going to show you this. So now this is your question, and we'll show you this thing also so that you get some idea after using this. So understand, this is your table. This is your table in which 4 columns are there: transaction date, merchant, amount, and payment mode. This question is asked in Uber as well as in Amazon. This is your table that you are seeing here, and you have to produce the output like this. From this table with this data, you have to produce the output like this. This is your question. Now understand how this output is coming. So see, this is my merchant one. Merchant one has paid 150 rupees amount with cash, and again merchant one has paid 100 rupees amount with cash. So the total amount paid by merchant one using cash is 250, and merchant one has paid 500 rupees amount online. So see, for online 500. So you have to create an output like this by using this. And this question can be asked in your next interview as well.
Durgesh, you can use group by, na? Group by merchant, okay, column, okay. Sum of,
Write a query in any format in the chat box.
okay.
I'm not
telling you, you are already on the ID, na? Okay. So you can write select
select
merchant,
merchant,
comma sum of
sum
amount,
sum of amount.
okay. Uh, mm, After merchant, you have to give payment mode.
And then you are wrong.
Huh?
Then you are wrong. Just tell me, is in the output there are 2 columns, cash and online.
Okay, online, okay. How much
Okay,
money?
Okay, who is saying right now? Any other person wants to answer? See, Rajni, there are 2 different columns in the output, and that
Yes,
columns are not
yes.
present in the input table.
Yes, I
That
got your
columns are
point.
as a row in the input table. How you will get this?
So we can achieve on this. We have to create one earliest column for this online.
Excited. See, Rakesh, okay, from online, from payment table. Correct. Rakesh, you are correct. So what we will use is sum, case when payment mode is equal to online. Online. Then I will give it. Then if the payment mode is online, then what I will sum? I will sum my amount. Else, I will sum 0, nothing. And I will end it here and will give it a name as online. Comma. Again, I will use a sum clause. Now, this time, Pooja, tell me what will be my condition.
Yeah. Case when payment underscore mode is equal to cash, then amount, else 0 as cash.
Mode is equal to cash, then amount. Because if payment mode is cash, then I need to sum my amount. That's why in output I'm giving amount. Else 0 end as cash.
Group
from
by merchant.
my
Yeah.
table, which is payments data. Payments. Let's see the table name. Payment data. Group by merchant, because I am seeing for every merchant. Why it's coming?
Group by. It will be group by.
Okay, sorry. Group by merchant. Now let's run it. Yeah, Rakesh, we have to use 0 because in some you can use 0 also, because some will count like some 0 only. So if you will use null there, then you will get null here. But you don't want null, that's why I'm using 0. So is everybody clear till here? And in the last classes, when I will teach you pivot table, then see, this is a two-liner with the help of pivot. What is happening? Just wait for a second. Yeah. See, when I will teach you pivot, then it will be a two-liner question for pivot. So many of you are not able to understand what it is. But there is functionality known as pivot and unpivot in SQL. So right now you have to focus on this approach. Is everybody clear?
Yes. Can we have in the same format?
What? Like what you are asking?
You have shown the output now. Can we have in the same format?
Like we have the output in the same format only. This is the same format that we want. So everybody is clear. Any questions from anyone?
Durga, the same thing can be achieved in decode also, right? Instead of case, we can use decode also, right?
Bro, the thing is, I know case, I don't know decode. And in my entire SQL journey, I have never used it. So there are different concepts. But the main concept that must be known is case, so I can use case here.
Okay.
And I am a SQL Server and MySQL Workbench person. And in that, I have never used decode.
Okay.
And try to do it with case when only.
Okay.
So hope everybody is clear. Let's solve a different question. Again, one interview asked question. So I have aggregated all these questions when I was preparing. So this is your question 2.
Durga, so regarding that first scenario where you have used one soft query and second one where you have used this both the counts, okay? So from performance point of view, which one will be more viable?
On performance point of view, the second one will be more reliable. But if you are running your query like multiple times, then the subquery one will more reliable. Basically, for this much data, both of them will be reliable. But if you are talking about a large amount of data, then the second one will be reliable.
See, in the count, you are grouping. Okay, grouping will kind of performance-wise, group will not go. Means group statements are not
So I'm in both
efficient.
of the bro, Rajni, listen. In both of the cases, I'm grouping. Why are you not understanding? In both of the in the second case, where I am not grouping, in the second case, I am directly doing a count. So that will be more feasible. See, if you see here, if you see here in this one, okay. So if in this case, we are grouping here also, and for example, if you are using this case, then we are grouping here also.
Okay,
But,
both cases. Mm-hmm.
but for example, if I am not using month here, then this will be more fast because I am only counting here, and here I am grouping, and both are giving me same output. See, first output is on row level, second output is on column level. Let's remove this one, group also. See, second output is on column level. This will be more fast
Yes.
compared to this one.
Mm.
ठीक है, नया second, try to solve second question. So this is my table, and I want to get output like this. And now you people will solve the question. So I will show you the inside out of this. So who will solve this question for me? This is my input, and I want output like this. Or let's do it little more tricky. Let's wait. I think I have copied something from here. Students. Then give me a minute. So this is my thing. So this is my input statement, and this is my output statement. So now I want a query that will convert my input statement into this output statement. This is also an interview asked question. Who will solve this question? This question is little tricky than the previous one. Sneha, can you solve this question? Sneha. Am I audible to you? No problem. So Rajni, can you solve this question?
I can give a try. So
First explain me what you will do. The main problem in this question is they are not adding or doing anything. They are just directly writing the marks.
Yeah.
In a
Rows
column
into
manner.
column. We have converted rows into column here. Student ID wise.
So now understand ना कैसे करोगे? Trick कैसे करोगे? देखो, select. I will write select, and simply I will write my student ID. How to play? Then I will write sum, or I will not write sum. I will write average. So for example, if I will write average, and I will write case when subject is equal to English. Then I will do then I will take my marks. Else 0. End. And will give it a name as English. Now again, I will write the same thing. And I will explain you how this thing is working. comma, again this thing. Now I will change the things. I will give it a name as math. I will give it a name as science. Give it a name as math. I will give it a name as science. From my student table, group by student ID. See, we don't have to use any aggregation. Then also, right now, see, we are getting a wrong output here. If you'll see here, if I write select, the output that we want is
you have used average, no? Average, it will sum the things and divided by count of
tell me what
students.
I will use, what I have to use. If I will use sum here, for example, sum.
Sum will also not work out. None of the group functions will work, I think.
Okay, you are very intelligent. Just again think. See, it's working.
Sum.
This is the same output, na? Who will tell me why it's working? Who will tell me? See, some function is working. Now just take an example. Suppose we are grouping on student ID. So there is one student ID 1001 and one student ID 1002. There will be two groups, na, yes or no?
Yes.
Rakesh, that will not work. The output that you have given. You have to use the aggregation if you want to use a group by. So now just two groups will be there. Now if I will take a sum, for example, if I will take a sum, and in sum function, first what will happen for a group of 1001 student with a student ID 1001, how many math thing are there? Only 85 is there, na? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then for all other values, it will get 0 only. That then for student ID 1001, what will be the last value? 85 only, yes or no? If you use sum here, it will not matter. And you are getting your output as well. That was the trick. That's why people ask these questions in Amazon and Walmart and big companies.
Durgesh, can we use max also here?
Yeah, you can use max as well. If you have only one value, then that value will only maximum value. But why, Rajni, you are speaking that no aggregation will be used?
No. What I thought, no, if you will sum and if we have some other value for that particular student ID, then the value will not match. But we can see like for a particular customer student ID, the subject mark actually it is distinct. If there is some kind,
if you are in a class, then if you are getting your maths mark at the end of your class, teacher will not give you 2 mark sheets because you have given her or him only 1 mark sheet with answers. She will give you marks only once, na?
Yes.
It's not a semester wise thing that 2 times math marks will be there, 2 times science marks will be there. Then this thing will not work.
So in that case, we will take average, right?
Yeah, in that case, no. In that case, average will also not work. See, that is not a case only. Then the answer requirement will be different. So these are 2 types of case when that we have discussed. The last one is order by with case when. So you can order your data with the help of case when. That thing I will tell you tomorrow because right now I'm not feeling well because I have feeling headache as well as fever from last 4 to 5 days and my energy is all exhausted. So that's all for today's class. The last part of case when, which is order by with case when, will tell you tomorrow. So that's all for the class. try to practice these things. And thanks all of you for joining. Acha,
Durgesh, you are supposed to send some sample
don't
questions, no?
don't ask me anything right now because
No, I'm not asking. See, Durgesh, you are supposed to send some sample question format, no? You have to share some.
I will share them tomorrow. So right now, like
Yeah, no problem. You take rest.